This week, it gets a little bit tight in Race A. Race B, I experienced some dirty driving. And in Race C, I decided to go rallycrossing in a Super GT car. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2023. And it said 2022 there. We are at an interesting point in Gran Turismo because this one is a bit of a bizarre week, if I'm honest with you. First up in the background, Sardegna Layout C and the Alpine A110. Let's have a look at those details. We're racing 6 laps. It's a grid start. No false start check this time. Sport soft. And then times 1 fuel and tyre wear. And it's bot, so no tuning for you this time. An interesting car with quite a bit of oversteer in there as well. You're going to need a little bit of car control. In the background are also some timestamps there for you. So if you want to skip this race and go to another, then please feel free to do so. However, I would stick around for this one. This one has some good racing in. So let's jump to that racing now, and then I'll give you a lap guide straight after it. Here we are then at the start. So we're starting P10 then. Not even 12 in the lobby. Arkeys is back. So you can check out Arkeys on the old YouTube. Dav's in P3 there. No false start check. So traction control on 1 and off we go. Now we change gear. And then I hope to switch traction control off. However, I forget. Well, I did turn the old knob on the wheel, but apparently it didn't work out. So yeah, I noticed later on in the race. We're going to head down then towards turn 1. I'm on the outside, which is a very scary place to be, so I'd highly recommend don't being on the outside. So I really took this nice and slow, took a wide line. There's a little bit of bashing here, nothing major. Everyone's trying to stay pretty clean in the grand scheme of it. So I would argue that's probably one of the cleanest race A's turn 1 I've seen in quite a while. Bearing in mind, this is the first race of the day. The first time any of these drivers are racing. So, you know, a bit of a shout out there to everybody in this one because that's hard to do. It really is. Going through here then, a very easy corner to get wrong as we go around the outside of Fury. And I was going to go for a bump draft, but decided not to. Fury trying to go down the inside here. Tries to give me space there. While some people will look at that as dirty, it's just Fury just misjudging it slightly. Very hard corner to go side by side there. So we continue on out of that and then in towards the last corner. Somebody's binned it there. That's Chicken Angel off as we go through here. And I'm trying to get the run. Unfortunately, I got a bump draft on Fury again there. So we're not getting past Fury just yet. We're still in P10 here. We're not gaining any positions. It's unusual for race A to not gain any positions on that first lap. But it is what it is. Plenty of time in this race. 3.8 seconds off that leader as we're in the slipstream of Fury now. Going towards that left-hand side. In towards the braking zone. Hard on those brakes. Looking to get the car stopped. And we do indeed. Fury gives me space there on the inside as well. Brilliant racing there, Fury. As we advance further on then, it's a lap later. And Chicken Angel and Wrigley are going side by side through here. They managed to make it work just, I think, there. But we're catching Chicken Angel very quickly then. Through the right we go. Just enough room there for an Alpine. In towards the braking zone. We're going to try around the outside here. So third gear for this car on this. Chicken Angel trying to give me room there. Does indeed. Beautiful racing there with Chicken Angel. A good shout out to you as well. A good shout out. Chicken Angel, you legend. Brilliant racing. There you go. You've got your shout out there. Right, okay. We advanced to lap 4 then. I'm going to catch up to the French driver again, who was struggling through here. Oh, Arkeys binned it there. Oh, Arkeys bins it. We're now looking down the inside of the French driver as well. Again, very hard to go side by side here. You've got to really slow the car down, which we try and do. We do give room as well. I think the French driver backed out of that one. So up into P5, but Arkeys bins it. So heading down the grid after a really good start there. In towards the braking zone we go. We've got somebody else off in the distance. That's Billy Ray going a little bit too deep, I suspect. Into that hairpin. So we can see P2, P1 4.3 seconds ahead as we advance further on there. So I think that's a bit out of the question, but you know, P2 still on the cards here. Heading in towards this final corner, we've got Alcazar and they're getting hit by Billy Ray as Billy Ray goes too deep. They both go too deep here. We'll leave that corner in third gear. Looking to get into that slipstream as quick as possible, and we do indeed. Been under all sorts of pressure on Billy Ray as we continue on down here towards turn 1. And then if we look on the mirror, Billy Ray just slows down a little bit. I'm not sure what was going on there. So we continue on. In towards the right we go. And Misha just goes a little bit too deep here. Looking to lose the car then as there's a big old gap on that inside. We're looking to take it here. We have to avoid hitting that P2 driver, but as we leave that corner, they just have the edge here. They're going to get it towards the line. Well played, Misha, recovering that and keeping that P2. But P3 for me. This is actually quite a fun race. Very hard to do, very hard car to control, but one I would highly recommend to do if you want to improve your car control. Right, let's jump to a lap guide then. Let me tell you what to do here. So you're going to head over the crest of the hill, and what you're looking for is that 100-meter board there. And you can use most of the curb on that right-hand side. What the car tends to do as it's downhill, the weight all shifts to the front, and you'll find that the car sometimes wants to oversteer if you're just slightly turning. So just be careful of that. But you can accelerate quite early through the corner in third gear. So do use that if you can. The camber's very nice for the car. It can really benefit from it. So we accelerate through that. Be careful about hitting the limiter there, going through that left-hander. Head over towards the right-hand side, and what you're looking for is that 50 board. As the 50 board leaves your screen, you're then looking to brake and then turn in, okay? Now, what I would highly recommend is staying in 5th gear up until the gravel trap, then change to 4th gear, and it'll keep the car more stable. Changing to 4th too early will unsettle the car and cause more oversteer. So 5th for quite a while, then 4th. Don't use the engine braking this time. Going through here, you may have to lift a little bit, so just be careful. Tiagi there, just going a bit slow here, so we go around the outside. Scary move as we come into here. You might want to lift a little bit here. You're trying to get the car settled. And on the right-hand side, you've got that orange barrier, or you got the red painted bit there. Either of them are good markers here. Essentially, you need to be straight by that point, so then you can start braking. Only brake in a straight line. Now, I'm going to go to 2nd gear here, but staying in 3rd gear is my recommendation. This was done earlier on in the, well, before I even did the daily race. 3rd gear is definitely better. Okay, so make sure you stay in 3rd gear. Nice little lap of Sardegna Sea in this Alpine A110. Do check it out, as I say. It'll help car control. Right, let's jump to race B. Welcome to Alsace then for race B, but we're doing this one in reverse. So this is a track layout I really don't like, mainly because of turn 1. It's very tight, very, very tight. There'll be lots of crashes there this week. And do hold me to my word if there isn't. But even so, we're in Group 3, which means it is even tighter at turn 1. But what else are we doing here at Alsace? Well, we're racing 4 laps in reverse. It's a rolling start, which is a little bit dodgy, and we're on the racing medium tyres. And Boppy's on, of course. It's always on in Group 3. I chose the GTR because it's a very good car at the moment. It's one of the meta cars, of course, and I wasn't sure which would be strong. I suspected the Porsche might be good, but I was a bit unsure with the weight transfer. So we went with the GTR, the safe bet here. Let's jump to the race end. Let's have a look exactly what happens, as well as a lap guide after it. We are then at the start. Make sure of cars then. We've got an Evo in P1, the Porsche, which I suspected to be in there. We've got an AMG. We actually have a Porsche up ahead of us as well. So the rolling start, really bad for that Porsche in P12. So you start in P12. F to you, because we get an insane inside line here, and we're going to actually challenge the Stella Artois car there of JT. So in turn 1 we go. Again, very tight corner, but we managed to make it clean. So fair play to you, JT, as we go through the left-hander then and really boot it up the hill. It's more like a mountain, to be honest with you, isn't it? It's really, really, really a steep climb there. So you are going to need some power car for that section, of course. In towards the braking zone we go of this right-hander. Difficult as it's downhill, and we got Mixu Boy up ahead. Lots of cars side by side there. In towards the braking zone we go. The speed just goes a little bit deep here. We're on that tight inside. Boot it out as quick as we can. We gain that position again. We've got a penalty. Who's that for? Stokey Kells. Now 1.5 second penalty as we go into Banky Boy here at Alsace. Yes, I'm calling this one Banky Boy as well. Through the left we go then. Oh, Billy Ray has gone. And we have a massive accident there. 2 cars involved. Stokey's gone. Oh, Stokey's got a 5.5 second penalty now. There's 4 seconds added to them there. So we're getting a huge amount of positions here on this opening lap. But still more pressure on. Oh, the French driver's got a 4-second penalty in the distance as well. What can we do then in towards this braking zone? We go trying around the outside here. Excuse me, as my body's trying to cough. And I don't want to cough. I want to commentate as we go up another position there. The French driver was off. So we've got the last one up ahead. Not quite the last one just yet. They are in that cursed position of P6. Through the right we go. We know we're going to be in P6 actually, at least because of that 5.5 second penalty. But down the inside of the Porsche we go. And we do get it stopped nicely on that apex. Job done. And that does mean we're also going to be up into P5 as the GTR is a little bit quicker than the Porsche in a straight line. So let's just see Stokey take that penalty then. They go towards the right hand side. And through we go into that P5. We catch up to this Porsche very quickly. Wasn't involved in that big accident. And they just leave that. I got very scared there because they broke early and straight. I was like, whoa, where are you going? So I managed to just get on the inside of them there. But yeah, that was an unusual line to say the least. So we're in P4. Challenging for a podium already here at Alsace Reverse. We're doing okay here. Say we complain about the layout. We're doing all right. So we're heading up the mountain. You can see that power difference then between the Porsche and the GTR really playing into effect. Then in towards this right-hander down the inside. Again, another position gained at that right-hander. It's a good little overtaking place there. So we head on to the final lap then, and we're actually in the fight for the victory here because P1 and P2 are right ahead then. Through the right-hander we go, and the Porsche challenging that Evo, so 3 different cars challenging here. And as we head up this mountain once again, look at that speed difference between the cars. We instantly start pulling on the Porsche very, very, very quickly here. So going to look down into this same overtaking place again. Into the braking zone we go. We do get it stopped indeed. So up into P2. Got Ragnarok to go, who doesn't have the best of reputations, let's put it that way. But in we go here. The Porsche just keeps pushing me out. I have no idea what you were doing here, Danny, but it really is dirty driving. I've got to be. It's not bad driving, that's dirty driving. Because you were pushing me out, and we'll confirm that on the bloopers afterwards. Ragnarok goes off then, runs too wide down that right-hander. So now we're in a fight with Danny again for this P1. So I was not expecting the greatest fight here in terms of cleanliness, just after what happened previously. So we leave the left-hander then, and Danny is sort of taking that racing line at the moment. Nowhere for me to go here. You can't really dive into this corner as we're looking to slow it down. But Danny gets it all sorts of wrong here. So I'm trying to get on the outside here to try and go for some form of cutback. Will it work then? In towards the braking zone we go. Trying to get a good run out of this corner. Remember, the GTR is fast on the Porsche. Danny gets it all sorts of wrong though. And we're clean on the inside. And actually, we're clean on through as well. Into P1 we go then. Let's advance towards that finish then as we speed along here. And we do indeed get that victory. We won. Track layout, I actually dissed there. My word, that is kind of funny really when you think about it. But yeah, P1 for TCR. Now, how did I do it? Well, it's time for that track guide to let you know. So you're going to head towards turn 1. And what you're going to do, you're going to aim for that curve there. You want to brake just before that you get to that curve, otherwise you're braking a little bit too late. It's better to brake early here, keep it tight, and have a good run up the mountain. Remember, the hill or the mountain, whatever you want to call it, is critical in terms of power, so you really need to get the best line for it. Stay over to the right-hand side and really attack this corner. And then if you take a wider line, you won't get as much oversteer. If you take a tight line there, you'll get a lot of oversteer, so just be careful of that. Heading over the hill then, over towards that left-hand side, and then as you head in towards this braking zone here, you're looking for that first arrow on the left-hand side, okay? Now, I normally drop 2 gears in the GTR. Your car may vary, of course. But yeah, I'm using that as my mark here, and I'm going to drop down to 3rd gear. Clip the curb and accelerate out. It really does grip on the exit there, so you can really push hard on that exit. On the right side, there's a bunch of trees and there's a gap, and I've highlighted that gap there. That is what I'm using as a marker here for the braking marker. Now, you want to take a wider line in and then come tight and then really just literally straight out there really quickly, okay? Because if you go in tight, you're going to come out wide and it's all horrible. You need good acceleration for this bit, okay? So into the right we go. And on the right-hand side here, you have the arrows. So this is where you want to dab the brake a little bit. I'm not sure what I do in this particular lap, but what you want to do, you want to dab the brake as that arrow hits the edge of your screen. And then just let the car roll a little bit, okay? Let the car use the banking. So I'm braking a little bit later there. I use that first part of the curb as an indicator, and then I just boot it afterwards. It's taking a wider line here is actually better. If you take a tighter line, the car will jump because it's like a bit of a bump there. Into this right-hander, once again, we're using the arrows on the left-hand side, the first arrow here. And again, a wide line in, okay? Don't go tight, otherwise you will do what Ragnarok did. Notice how we're taking a wide line in, coming in very late to the corner, and it allows us to accelerate out of the corner, really carrying that momentum. Over to the left, be careful of that little jump there. And over to the right-hand side, and we're going to use the end of the curb there. I'm braking just before that end of the curb, okay? So I'm going to drop to, I think it's 3rd gear here, maybe even 2nd. I can't actually remember in the GTR. But use that as your marker. And yeah, I'm staying in 3rd gear. I thought it was 3rd, but, you know, I have to watch the footage myself to confirm. So over towards the left-hand side, the arrows just start here, and then there's a yellow bit there, okay? And that's what I want to use as a little bit of a brake marker, and also just to release the throttle, okay? Again, you're taking a wider line in. A lot of these corners tighten, okay? So you're going to take a wider line in, and what you're actually looking for is that tree there. It's very obvious when you're racing. So when you see that tree, you need to be on this side of the circuit, okay? The tighter line, very close to that black line on the tarmac there. If you are, you can accelerate out. Notice I was towards the left of it, so I had to let off the throttle a little bit, okay? So if you're on that line, you can accelerate when you see that tree. It's great. It's a really good marker. Right side, you've got the first arrow again. Now, you want to be braking just before this. I brake just after it. You notice I'm taking a bit of a wrong line here, so I'm out wide here. Cost me a few temps for sure. So you want to brake just before that, turn in and use the inside of the corner to your advantage. Heading towards the last corner then, you have that curb in there. Literally, as the curb in is about to start, you're going to start hitting the brakes. You can see that I've done that right here, okay? And again, a wide line in. Remember, the corner tightens. So it tightens, accelerate out the corner. You can miss the apex like that, and it's still fine. You want to beat it out the corner, and that is it for race C. Let's head to the final race then. But we're in Japan, which means we're at Autopolis. Well, it doesn't actually mean that because it could be Fuji or Suzuka. But we are at Autopolis. You can see that in the background. I mean, in Group 2, which does mean this is a very horrible combo, if I do say so myself. We'll get into that in the race, though. What is happening in that race? Well, we're racing 12 laps. It's a rolling start. It's a good rolling start, though, so fair play to Gran Turismo. Softs and mediums both are required. ×2 fuel, ×4 tyre wear, and the bop is, of course, on. I chose the GTR because the GTR is always strong in Group 2. The NSX seems to be doing very well as well, so that could be your car choice here. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens and why is this race so bad. Here we are then at the start. So you see an NSX in pole and P3 as well. A mixture of cars. There definitely will be a mixture of GTRs and NSXs because the NSX will be better in time trial, but the GTR potentially better in the race. We'll find out over the course of the week. But as you can see there, nice rolling start. In fact, we've got the old Mercedes there coming down the right-hand side. Has to brake really early there, though. Doesn't have the grip or downforce for this one, unfortunately. It will be the Super GT cars that will reign supreme at this course. Or circuit, should I say. Why did I call it a course? I've no idea. Right, okay, heading in towards turn number 2 then, or technically 3 if you count the actual corner numbers. And we're just stuck in this queue of cars at the moment. Now, we go through this left and then in towards the braking zone where Bippy decides to just absolutely launch it and send it on 2 people. So I'm like, okay, I'll take full opportunity here to take advantage of that. And then they come across me there. And then, well, that's the end result. And now, I've always talked about cutting across people's noses. And that's what happens. That is not my fault in the slightest. You literally cut straight across me while I existed there. So, yeah, that was unfortunate for you. And then we got this move down the inside of the Spaniard. Again, we broke early. We actually had to release the brake even just to get to the corner there. And then they came across my nose as well. So please be careful of that. Do use your radar, people. You will need to use your radar here because you're going to get a lot of dives at this circuit. It's the only way to overtake. As we catch Bobby here then, heading towards turn 1. And this is what we're going to do again, in towards the braking zone. Now, Bobby moved over there. I have no idea. Maybe got a wiggle on the grass. I'm not too sure. So, yeah, we get P11. We would have gone a bit deep ourselves, but Bobby binned himself off there. Now, we've got Gunslinger here. Go defensive. Good defensive line there as we come into this corner. And I'm actually going to try around the outside. They just cut it a little bit too much there. So, I'm going around the outside of Gunslinger here up into P10. So you're probably going, Tidge, why do you hate this? Oh, somebody's got a penalty. P9 then, P9. Why do you hate this combo so much? Well, I'll get into that shortly as we head up to this hairpin. I just outbrake myself completely here. I decided to go rally crossing in a Group 2 car. A GT2 car is technically a Super GT car. Because why not? Why not go rally crossing in it? Let's try it for something different. And let's get in the dirty air, which is the main problem here. So we're behind Gunslinger here, and you notice, look at the washout we had there as we turn in. It's unbelievable. Gunslinger, though, goes off. Understeers a little bit too much there. Good return to the circuit there. Really kept it clean. Well played, Gunslinger. Honestly, shout out to you for this video. Really good driving. Into the left we go. We make the apex. Job done. Back into P10 we go. It's like deja vu, this. Yeah, have you ever had deja vu? Let me know in the comments. I certainly have. I've talked about it in the past. Right, through the left we go then, and unfortunately, the driver up ahead clips the grass, spins out. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name. Alsace. Okay, maybe I did try. Yeah, you touched the grass and ended up meeting Narnia, or going into Narnia, should I say. You didn't meet Narnia. Anyway, through the left we go, and I noticed everyone's coming in the pits. I'm like, whoa, that is way too early. Way too early. Now, the pit strategy for this one is all about getting out of traffic, so I was a bit gutted the French driver didn't decide to come in as well. However, they binned it there, clipping the grass once again, so that did help me. Coming into the pits, use the white line as your brake marker, okay? The second that white line appears, use it, because otherwise you're going to go too deep, hit the barrier, and get a penalty that way as well. Now, I come out just in traffic here. Muscafi and Ginger just come out in it. I'm just like, oh, no. And this is where Dirty Air really played a toll on me, to be honest with you. Because obviously I'm approaching the quicker drivers in the lobby, being the first lobby of the day. Some of the drivers at the back are B-rated. We're now in the A's and the A+. It's just much harder to overtake. So this is much later on. I've been behind them for 2 laps here already. And I managed to get some clean air just on the inside of Muscafi there, going through that last corner, which meant I was very close to them as they came onto the straight. So they're going to go defensive driving here. I'm going to go to that left-hand side and look to try and overtake. I go into this braking zone. I notice, okay, they've gone deep. But no, they nailed it beautifully. But I managed to get a little bit of a cut back here. Just get on that inside. I'm just alongside here. Beautiful racing with Muscafi as we head towards this right-hand then. In towards the braking zone we go. Now, they turned in just a little bit too much there. Nothing major here. That's just racing in Gran Turismo. As we go through that left, I leave a lot of space on that left-hand side. Beautiful racing there with Muscafi. Shout out to you. That was brilliant. Good fun. Thank you for that. Really good fun. Clean driving. Beautiful. Right, now we're going to look to try and... Oh, no, we're not. We're going to actually look behind us because this is... Look at the washout here. Gets in my dirty air, instantly just full on understeers. It's mad. Absolutely mad. And that's the problem with this combo. That you're stuck in a queue, irrespective of tyres and tyre wear, until they make a mistake. So you see here, we're now in a queue of medium runners who... No, they're not. They're soft runners that pitted early. No, medium runners that pitted for softs early on lap 5. That's what it is. The CPB, I think, is the exception to this, who's on the mediums. But you can see here, we're just a train of cars. We're train of cars. Now, I know I can get 34s in the race. I know that. I did it in my practice lobby I did the other day. So I'm sort of stuck here doing 36s, 37s, 38s because I can't get past. It's impossible. Oh, CPB there makes a mistake because you're stuck in this traffic jam of dirty air. Now, Ginger gets some clean air there, gets on the inside. Beautiful move from Ginger, actually, there. Really well played with that. Now, I'm really close to CPB here. They're going to go to left-hand side, and then, well, they went to the left, then right, and then I'm down the inside here. So we're just going to get it stopped there. I would say that's a beautiful overtake, if I do say so myself. A little bit of a dummy shown as well. So up into P6. We advance further on. Again, we're just stuck in this, you know, when you're out of the dirty air, it's great. But when the second you're behind the car, it's just understeer city. And it's a big problem at the moment in Gran Turismo, if I'm honest with you. It's stopping so much good racing. It really is. Even in Group 3, it's bad. I would argue the Group 3 dirty air should be what Group 4 is right now. You can see here, look, I have to delay the throttle. Otherwise, I'm understeering off. And Ginger just accelerates then because he can do. And he's got dirty air from ahead as well. So, you know, it's amplified. Or not amplified enough, really, in what it truly is. Going through this left-hander then, we're still in this train of cars. Of course, P4 and I know Sonic as well was running out of tyres. They pitted both on lap 5 for the soft tyres. They don't last, okay? The minimum you really have... Oh, we go for the move on Ginger then. Down the inside, we had a bit of a run there and we get it stopped. Beautiful little move there up into P5. And as you see, we get towards the end. And yeah, it's just horrible, to be honest with you, the dirty air. But Sonic survived with no tyres, so well played to Sonic. Yes, the subscribe button just came up. So you need to subscribe if you haven't already. And here's why. Because I'm going to give you a track guide now. So heading in towards turn 1. On the left-hand side, just after that 100-meter board, you have an orange painted barrier. It's a beautiful marker. Use that marker. So on the medium tyres, you're braking out it. Soft tyres just after it, okay? Now, soft tyres, I use third gear. I actually use second gear a little bit on the medium tyres just to get the car turned in and just use a bit more power because otherwise it bogs down a teeny tiny bit. Right, we're going to head towards the right-hander then. And on the left-hand side, you have that piece of tarmac. It's just after the painted orange barrier. That's what I use for this corner. I'm braking just after that leaves your screen, okay? And then you really want to chuck the car in. So I'm in third gear here. Sometimes you might want to use second through these corners. But I'm trying to maintain third to keep that speed up. And then the second, I know I'm not going to understeer. I'm then accelerating towards this brake marker, which is the end of the curve, or just before it actually. You can, in the race, use White Van Man. They are on the right-hand side. We can't use it, of course, for quali because White Van Man is having a day off when it's qualifying time. Anyway, through the right-hander we go. I stay in second here. You notice a little bit of a wiggle there in terms of wheel spin. Do be careful of that. Into this left you go, and you just turn in at the curb. And then what you're actually looking for is that marshal box in the center of your screen. When it's in the center, hit the throttle because you're going to make the corner. Unless you're behind somebody, of course. Then it's dirty air and all awkward. But even so, we do that here, and we nail it through the corner. Going to head up towards the hairpin now. A very difficult corner to get right in Group 2, I would say, this corner. So what you're looking for here is that 50 board. You can use the arrow just before, but you're braking just before the 50 and just after the arrow. So in the middle of those two. You can use the marshal box as well if you really want to, but you notice here, I'm just going a tiny bit deep. So it's in between those two, the arrow and the 50. I'm going to leave that corner then. Be careful on exit of Oversteer. We saw that earlier on with Gunslinger. Down the hill then. And we're going to use that pole, the pole we always use here at Autopolis, and it's in Alsace there, on the right-hand side. Literally, dab the brakes, drop a gear, and chuck it in, and you should be fine. So it will stick. Use that downforce to your advantage and the grip of the tyres. Turn in for the next corner before the end of the curb. Now, I would say you can dab the brakes a little bit, but it's better to just drop a gear, and the engine braking will help you get round very quickly. Now, I'm trail braking it a little bit, but notice I literally didn't need to do that. So through the left we go, and then in towards the braking zone here. It's a straight line braking. Just dab the brakes, drop to second gear, okay? Be careful of power oversteer. So you might want to shift to third quite early there just to be safe, and then chuck it left. You're just letting off the throttle here. You're all bouncing the car with the throttle only. You're not really using the brakes. I dab the brakes a little bit here. I'm trying to keep it tight, and I'm delaying the throttle as much as I can before I get to this tarmac. When I see that piece of tarmac down the right-hand side, that's when I accelerate. And I'm normally in third gear for this bit because otherwise second gear, you'll get power oversteer and it's all horrible and weird. Third gear, absolutely fine. I'm going to leave that corner then, and that is a lap of Autopolis in a Group 2 car. Right, okay. let's jump to some of the bloopers then. Let's have a look at the big one. This is the real big one that we saw. So there's no real bloopers in race A. Definitely a blooper in race B here. A little bit of contact there with Dan. The French driver goes into Dan then through this left hand. The Porsche tries to take advantage of that. French driver comes back over, and then there's just an absolute massive incident. Let's have a look at that from the Beatles perspective then. Technically, they're both Beatles. Hey. Anyway, through the left we go. So they're just letting off here. They're doing what you would expect to do. They tag Dan there, and they go through that. They don't realize the Porsche's coming back there. And yeah, it's an awkward one, that. Now, the Beatles, sorry, does get a 4-second penalty. I'm half agreeing with PD there because, you know, it forced Dan out wide and then was a part of the contact. Do you know what? I actually agree with that. Now, let's have a look at this Porsche. How bad was this dirty driving, should I say. It wasn't bad driving. The grid 3 here, look, they're on the throttle already. They're leaning on me and they're accelerating and just pushing me out wide. Very dirty driving, that. That is pure dirty driving. Do not do that ever. We look to the final race then, and this is the dive of Bibby then. Danny inside. That was never going to work. Not in a month of Sundays was that going to work. Let's relieve space here. We continue on. As we go through here, they just cut me off completely. Completely cut me off there, and that is the end of that. Not many bloopers this week, mainly because of dirty air in race C and race B. It's going to be quite stretched out due to the track. But that is it for me, folks. If you did like it, please do give a like. Subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. And there are 2 videos there for you to check out. As I say, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream very soon.